Hello and welcome to the KDF Friday Bulletin. I am Sergeant Doreen Kerubo. The Bulletin is a show to keep you updated on events undertaken by the Ministry of Defense over the week. In our highlights tonight, Commander-in-Chief presides over Investure of ranks and swearing in of promoted general officers, allocation of land to the Kenya Defence Forces in Turkana, change of guard at the Kenya Army and Kenya Navy, Kenya Air Force holds annual air defense seminar at Laikipia Air Base, Ministry of Defense invites shortlisted candidates for interviews. To start us off, His Excellency Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defence Forces, presided over the Investure of ranks and swearing-in ceremony of the newly promoted and appointed general officers of the Kenya Defence Forces at State House here in Nairobi. The ceremony came a day after the President effected the postings, promotions and appointments of general officers pursuant to Section 9, Subsection 2, Clause A of the Kenya Defence Forces Act.
The occasion saw President Ruto confer ranks to the newly appointed Vice Chief of Defence Forces, Lieutenant General Charles Kahariri, Commander Kenya Army, Lieutenant General David Tarus, Commander Kenya Navy, Major General Thomas Ng'ang'a, Vice Chancellor National Defence University Kenya, Lieutenant General Jameson Longiro, Commandant National Defence College, Lieutenant General Juma Munyikai, and General Officer Commanding Eastern Command, Major General Luka Kuto. The President congratulated the newly promoted and appointed general officers as they assumed their new responsibilities, noting that the promotions and appointments were as a result of merit, professionalism, and their commitment. He further implored them to discharge their responsibilities with dedication, patriotism, and professionalism, while keeping the traditions that define Kenya Defence Forces as a professional force with integrity and dedicated towards building a cohesive, progressive, secure and stable Kenya.
Your appointment signifies your commitment to Kenya, your professionalism as officers, and the positions that you are being appointed to are positions you have made out of your commitment to service to the people of Kenya. And this morning, you take over heavy responsibilities. I am confident that the positions that you now occupy are positions that you're going to use to build the military as an institution.
Honorable Aiden Duale, the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, hosted the Senior Program Manager of the Triangular Partnership Program, Mr. Takakazu Ito, at Defense Headquarters here in Nairobi. In the discussions, CS Duale applauded the government of Japan for its critical role in contributing to global peace and security through peace support operations, humanitarian assistance, as well as development assistance. Moreover, he said the Japanese government, through the United Nations, has been of great support in training Kenya Defence Forces personnel on countering improvised explosive devices and rapid deployment engineering capability programs offered at the International Peace Support Training Center in Karen. He noted that the training enhances the capability of the Kenya Defence Forces Engineering Battalion. Mr. Patrick Mariru, the Principal Secretary for Defense, convened a consultative session between the Ministry of Defense and leaders from the county government of Turkana to discuss the allocation of military land by the county government. Under an existing framework agreement, the county committed to allocate 8 parcels of land to the ministry for the construction of a military installation and a training ground for the Kenya Defence Forces. To address any arising issues from the land allocation, a technical committee was formed comprising of representatives from the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Lands, County Government of Turkana, National Land Commission, and the County Commissioner.
In his address, the Permanent Secretary highlighted the necessity to establish a military presence in the county has been driven by the Defense Strategic Plan. This move aims to strategically position the Kenya Defence Forces to effectively address contemporary security threats, including banditry and cattle rustling that are prone in the region. He reaffirmed the ministry's dedication to fostering a harmonious coexistence between KDF soldiers and local communities, recognizing the pivotal role the community plays in supporting the ministry's mandate to safeguard the nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity against external aggression.
We look into the horizons as having even a more productive relationship between the great community of Turkana, but also their KDF, because the KDF is not a Nairobi, it is them. So we think this will project into even a more fruitful discussion.
Vice Chief of Defence Forces, Lieutenant General Charles Kahariri, reiterated KDF's commitment to fulfilling its obligation as per the framework agreement and to fostering positive relations with the community. County Governor of Turkana, Honorable Jeremiah Lomurkai, expressed gratitude to the Ministry of Defence for its efforts in maintaining peace and security in the region. He pledged his unwavering support to the KDF as they carry out their mandate within the county.
The Ministry of Defence wishes to notify the public that the process of shortlisting candidates for various civilian staff vacancies, which were earlier advertised on the 1st of May 2023, is complete. Shortlisted candidates are invited for interviews at the Ministry of Defence Headquarters, Ulinzi House, Lenana Road here in Nairobi. Candidates are to appear for the interviews and bring along their original academic and professional certificates, national identity card and testimonials on the specified dates and times as indicated against their names in the shortlist that can be obtained from the Ministry's website www.mod.go.ke. Earlier in the week, Lieutenant General Peter Njiru, the outgoing Commander Kenya Army, accompanied by the incoming Commander Kenya Army, Lieutenant General David Tarus, made a tour to Somalia to bid farewell to the Kenya Defence Forces soldiers serving under the African Transition Mission in Somalia. The visit allowed the outgoing commander to interact and share his experiences with the soldiers after 39 years of illustrious career in the military service. It also provided a platform to the incoming commander to meet with the recently deployed Kenya Defence Forces troops in Somalia. On the other hand, Lieutenant General Jimson Longiro, the outgoing Commander Kenya Navy, and the newly appointed Vice Chancellor National Defence University Kenya handed over command of the Kenya Navy to Major General Thomas Ng'ang'a at the Kenya Navy headquarters in Mtongwe, Mombasa. Take a look.
In his address, Lieutenant General Njiru applauded KDF troops for the support they have accorded him during his service and implored them to accord the same to the incoming commander. He expressed his gratitude for the service and commitment to duty given by KDF troops in defending and protecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Kenya, as well as the efforts towards restoring peace in Somalia. The incoming Commander Kenya Army, Lieutenant General Tarus, thanked the outgoing commander for his remarkable support, guidance and exemplary service to Kenya Army during his tenure as the service commander. He further congratulated the soldiers for their contribution towards the support of peace and security in Somalia, promising his support and enhancement of soldier capabilities to overcome challenges as they execute their roles. Thereafter, the commanders paid a visit to KDF troops deployed under Operation Amani Boni at Kenya Navy Base Manda and Sinai Forward Operating Base, respectively. In the coast, a replica of the same was witnessed at the Kenya Navy headquarters in Mtongwe. The outgoing Commander Kenya Navy, Lieutenant General Jimson Longiro, congratulated the incoming Commander Kenya Navy, Major General Thomas Ng'ang'a, on his promotion and appointment to command Kenya Navy. He also encouraged Kenya Navy officers and sailors to operate as a team, support one another, and let synergy be their greatest asset. His sentiments were echoed by Major General Ng'ang'a, who urged Kenya Navy officers and sailors to support him to steer Kenya Navy to greater heights. He further congratulated Lieutenant General Longiro on his promotion and appointment as the Vice Chancellor National Defence University Kenya and wished him success as he takes up his new role.
Moving on, Major General John Omenda, the Commander Kenya Air Force, officially opened the annual Air Defense Seminar 2024 under the theme Air Defense, a Precursor for National Development at Laikipia Air Base in Nanyuki earlier this week. The seminar aims at increasing awareness and understanding of the evolving air threats for effective and efficient air defense strategies and further bolsters participants' readiness in addressing emerging airspace threats in a one force, one mission posture.
Speaking during the event, Major General Omenda reiterated his vision to provide air defense all around the clock to maintain the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Kenyan airspace. He further amplified the seminar's theme, adding that air defense is a precursor to national development and remains a pivotal component in the grand strategy, noting that the niche of innovation and broad industrial research, as well as development, should remain the center stage at all times in achieving the Kenya Air Force mandate.
Major General Thomas Ng'ang'a, the Commander Kenya Navy, presided over the reception ceremony for the exercise Jitegemee 25 training cruise at Kenya Navy Fleet Mkunguni Jetty. The cruise participants were received back after the 2-week-long training cruise. The training cruise exercise is a culmination of the theoretical classwork for junior officers under training at Kenya Navy Training College after they graduated from the Kenya Military Academy. The comprehensive sea and in-port training is focused towards self-reliance, preparing junior officers to assume command and leadership roles in future naval duties.
In his address to the sailors, Major General Ng'ang'a expressed his delight to receive the crew following the successful completion of the training cruise. He equally thanked the Chief of Defense Forces for his support in providing resources to undertake successful training.
As Kenya Navy, it has been our tradition for Exercise Jitegemee to provide an opportune moment to expand our maritime diplomacy and flag showing, which are key to the prosperity of our beautiful nation. Further, it underscores our commitment to the contributions of regional maritime security and stability within our maritime sphere.
Brigadier Sankale Kiswa, the Commander Kenya Navy Fleet, highlighted the training cruise's success was due to proper prior preparations of both troops and machinery, as well as multiple pre-cruise training sea trials and maneuvers. He stated that the training is a critical component in allowing the Kenya Navy Fleet to fulfill its responsibility of guaranteeing Kenya's maritime security.
Colonel Jens Lindvik, the Danish Defense Attaché to Kenya, led a delegation from the Danish Ministry of Defense and Danish Defense Command on a visit to the Kenya Navy base Mtongwe. During the visit, the delegation paid a courtesy call to the Commander Kenya Navy, Major General Thomas Ng'ang'a, at the Kenya Navy headquarters. Discussions focused on the implementation of the Partner Agreement on Maritime Cooperation between Kenya and the Kingdom of Denmark, an agreement that will enable the two countries to partner in combating maritime security threats, among them piracy, terrorism, and violent extremism.
Thereafter, the delegation visited the Kenya Naval Training College, where they took a tour of the full mission bridge simulator and were briefed on how the simulator has been instrumental in training Kenya Navy officers, sailors, and other maritime agencies. They were also taken through the firefighting unit. The visit culminated in a tour of the Kenya Navy Clearance Diving Unit, where the divers showcased their capabilities.
In other news, Mr. Patrick Mariru, the Principal Secretary for Defense, led heads of departments of the ministry in a colorful farewell ceremony for two esteemed retiring employees, Mr. Boniface Wambua, the outgoing Secretary of Administration, and Mr. Bogita Ongeri, the former Director of Public Communication. The two head out on retirement after illustrious careers in the civil service. Before the farewell ceremony, the PS chaired a workshop for the heads of department and their deputies to reflect on the various achievements and plans in the departments. During the workshop, departmental heads were taken through a training session on life and retirement by trainers brought on board by the Ministry Human Resource Management and Development Department.
Mr. Mariru expressed deep appreciation for the outgoing officers' dedication and successful service, noting the remarkable impact they have made at the ministry. He encouraged them to carry forward their legacy of excellence beyond retirement, embracing new opportunities ahead.
Now, the two of you have, in that sense and in that phase, left the ministry, but in a sense, your imprints and your experiences and your support and your everyone for me, for the Cabinet Secretary, for the CDF, and for the entire leadership of the ministry, and indeed the heads of departments and many other people you worked with. I can see people you worked with, even Stratcom and others. I'm sure your experience will go in.
On their part, the retiring officers expressed gratitude for the support they received, emphasizing the PS's unwavering leadership, facilitating the smooth operation of the departments.
Sir, I thank you so much. I thank my colleagues. I thank our military personnel. All that we have done, let us work for the good of this nation.
Representing the Chief of Strategic Communications, Brigadier Zipporah Kioko, Colonel Thomas Mwanga, who is the Colonel Broadcast Production at the Kenya Defence Forces Strategic Communications Branch, appreciated the profound leadership and mentorship by the retirees, particularly Mr. Ongeri's role in shaping Strategic Communications Branch. He also implored the outgoing officers to be available for consultations, owing their immense experience and wisdom.
Military Wives Association of Kenya and the Defence Forces Memorial Hospital staff and patients joined the world to mark World Kidney Day, aiming to raise awareness of the inequalities in kidney disease treatment and encourage collaborative efforts to improve access to kidney disease treatment. This year's theme was advancing equitable access to care and optimal medication practice. World Kidney Day is celebrated every second Thursday of March to raise awareness globally of the importance of kidney health and to increase screening for chronic kidney disease.
Brigadier Dr. Milton Obilo, the hospital nephrologist, shared preventive tips on how to avoid diabetes and high blood pressure, which are key risk factors causing chronic kidney disease. He further encouraged those living with the disease to stick with medication adherence and dialysis, adding that chronic kidney disease can be countered only with awareness. His words were echoed by Mrs. Masinjiru, a member of Military Wives Association of Kenya, who urged personnel to avoid unhealthy lifestyles that lead to disease and consider screening for early detection and treatment of kidney disease.
Kenya Defence Forces troops from the 23 Mechanized Infantry Battalion in Nanyuki, Laikipia County undertook an environmental conservation sensitization session facilitated by the Kenya Forest Service. The sensitization aims to create awareness about the importance of conserving the environment. The move is in support of the Commander-in-Chief's National Tree Restoration Program, aimed at mitigating the devastating effects of climate change by planting over 15 billion trees by 2032.
During the session, troops were taken through the environmental conservation strategies, including seedbed preparation, planting and nurturing of trees. Thereafter, a session on financial literacy and management followed. The program culminated in a tree planting exercise at the unit's nature park. KDF, through its environmental soldier program, has enabled soldiers to be at the center stage of environmental rehabilitation and conservation by planting trees to preserve the ecosystem.
Thank you for watching. We look forward to your feedback via our official social media handles and your viewership next Friday for the KDF Friday Bulletin. I am Sergeant Doreen Kerubo. Goodbye and God bless.